Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. This is the book that I'll be sharing from, Unleashing Buddhanature, personal accounts of those touched and reformed through the teachings of His Eminence the 25th Sam Rinpoche. So today I will continue on with the sharing by Pastor Shin Tan. Show, not tell. And it will be on page 149. Here's a picture to share with you. Let's pass the sheet. Right, 149. As opposed to lay pastors, Sangha to be wear white robes or uniforms and lead our lives as if we were already monastics in preparation for our Sangha ordination. Our heads are also shaved, whereas the lay pastors keep their hair. This relieves us from the temptation to keep up with the latest fashions or fussing with jobs and relationships, thus reducing distractions from our Dharma practices. That was not the hardest training, as most people might think. Before we perform any prayers or rituals, we begin with a set of preliminary prayers. In these preliminary prayers, we basically ask to be enlightened, to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. I repeat, all sentient beings, be it a human being, an ant, a ghost, a hell being, a deity, or even an alien. To me, it is easy to recite, but very difficult to practice. While I have generally been a helpful and generous person, just like everyone else, I have a long way to go on this journey from selfishness to selflessness. The most difficult thing for me to part with is having my own time. As a pastor, I am basically on call around the clock. I love my normal schedule as much as anyone else, but quite a few times in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., I had to answer calls to advise the other person on the line what could be done for a family member who was just admitted to the emergency room, or conduct urgent pujas, which is prayers, and candle offerings immediately after receiving a WhatsApp message. Can I tell them sorry, but you will have to call back at 9 a.m.? Or can I tell a distraught daughter who is taking care of her dying parent to postpone the parent's death until after I wake up? No. As a pastor, I am expected to console and counsel anyone who needs help anytime, from one who suffers from depression to the family and friends of the sick, dying, or deceased. If their homes are near, I have to drive there and advise them on what needs to be done. I have to also conduct pujas and rituals which are necessary to help when difficult situations arise, including helping the dead on their journey, and these can last for hours. It would have been quite impossible to muster the energy to tend to these emergencies and lengthy conversations after a long day of work if I didn't have the few years of training under Rinpoche, who demonstrated selflessness all the time. We, the pastors, are glad we are able to serve the community and take some load off Rinpoche, because in the past, it was only Rinpoche who was doing all the counseling and rituals, on top of building Kachara up as a progressive spiritual organization that is constantly growing. Rinpoche truly cares for all sentient beings, even the ones people usually ignore. For example, he would always pack some dog food in his car, and whenever we pass by a stray mutt, he would get us to stop so that he could feed it. And even after we have put down the food and driven a little distance away, Rinpoche would keep turning his head backwards to check if the dog was eating. Eventually, we too were influenced to keep some dog food in our cars and to look out for hungry strays too. Rinpoche has also trained me to be detached from a structured schedule by springing unexpected tasks upon me. The most interesting case was when I was working in KMP and chatting online with Rinpoche around midnight. Suddenly, Rinpoche shot over a message telling me to get on the next flight to Nepal to make the necessary preparations for an upcoming trip. I didn't even have time to express my alarm. I scrambled to call my boss to request travel allowances, book the flight tickets, throw some clothing and toiletries into my suitcase, and cancel plans for the weekend with my friends. 8 hours after Rinpoche's chat message, I was on a plane bound for Kathmandu. These impromptu assignments trained me to not only be flexible with my plans, but also to be readily available to help no matter the inconveniences. Two very important traits to deal with those 3 a.m. pleas for assistance that pastors often get. Unfortunately, there were disciples who in the past criticized Rinpoche for this training of spontaneity, perhaps due to their own unwillingness to step out of their comfort zones. It is now that I realize how important these trainings were and how they helped me to become a better pastor. For me, real Dharma practice or improvement on the spiritual path is a progressive process of letting go. While it can be painful sometimes, I trust this is the right path for me. I have always believed that being reborn as a human in this lifetime is a privilege that should not be squandered. It should be used for a higher purpose, not wasting it on a 9 to 5 job and the pursuit of other society approved achievements. My higher purpose would not be fulfilled without my Lama. It is as if my dream is to be an astronaut, and Rinpoche opened a branch of the U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, in Malaysia. Rinpoche's work and teachings have enabled me to become who I am today. Most importantly, he shows me how to be a better version of my current self through a very effective method by setting an example. And that's the end of the sharing by Pastor Shin. And that's how Rinpoche trains us, train a lot of people, that we should not always have limit ourselves, to time. Yes, that we have to sleep at certain hours, wake up at certain hours, eat at certain hours, and that our activities spent on our likes, like meeting, have friends for drinks and whatnot, because what Rinpoche teaches us is to really practice the kindness or compassion for others, which means that we make ourselves available to help others whenever they need our help. Even just a year to listen, when they are troubled, or as what Pastor Shin says, like anyone who passes away or is very sick, to be there for them, to do prayers, and to provide any guidance that they need, especially, when people, they are faced in that situation, they are quite lost. Quite often they are very lost because, it's like losing a close one, So that's why Rinpoche always trains his close students or anyone who's serving within Kachara to be kind and to be available to help others. So thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll be doing another person sharing in my next session. So do join me. And here we will end this with a completion dedication in English. May the precious body mind where it is not born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May the precious emptiness where it is not born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May this merit accumulated by myself and others beneficially serve all sentient beings and the Buddha Dharma, and especially may the essential teachings of the unerring Master Tsongkhapa become clear and enduring. In all my rebirths may I not be parted from perfect gurus. Let me enjoy the abundance of the Dharma, perfecting the quality stages and paths. May I quickly attain the rank of Ajadara Buddha. By this virtue may I quickly realize Guru Buddhahood and transfer each sentient being into that enlightened state. May all conducive conditions arise and all obstacles be pacified in order to increase infinitely the doctrine of the spiritual King Tsongkhapa. By the merits of the 3 times of myself and others, may the doctrine of Lama Tsongkhapa blaze forever. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the 3 jewels grant us their blessing. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the paths of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. May the holy teachers have long lives. May the enlightened activities be fully displayed in the 10 directions. And may the brightness of the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa continuously dissipate the veil of darkness covering the beings of the 3 realms. In this land encircled by snow mountains, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in this life until samsara's end. Whom grant me here and now appropriate attainments without exception. Grant increase of the entourage, teachings and wealth, Almighty Shukden. Thank you, and please do join me for my next session as I go into the story of another student.